founded by Jahangir. Okay, autobiography is something he wrote on his own, like khud par likha tho. Okay, somebody writing for you is biography, you writing for yourself, this is my life story likha do, itu the autobiography koi Tuzuk e Jahangiri, he wrote in Persian language, Tuzuk e Jahangiri. Okay, by the way, Jahangir started decorating walls with floral designs made of semi-precious stones, Pitra Dura, during his reign. Yesterday I showed, I think, did I? No. This is Pitra Dura is a very popular art and culture. Itu bishi pure mukhan. Okay. I want to show you guys this. Have you seen this? It's a very popular motif in Mughal architecture. Diksha dikha nahi to. Let this one see. Perfect example is this. Okay, we have all seen this, right? If you go to Taj Mahal, you will itu bishi pabo. Okay, this is known as Pitra Dura. Look at this. This is one of the major influence architecture. This is the entrance of Taj Mahal. Itu Taj Mahal entrance ase. Itu ke Pitra Dura koi. Okay, look. Okay, Pitra Dura. And you know what? If you go a little closer to the, if you go and look at the Taj Mahal, there, this, in all this, once upon a time, this all colorful, these things had precious stones and gems that was giving its color. But when the invaders came, they took out all the stones below. So next time when you visit Taj Mahal, you find lots of chanda bishop away there. Okay, you'll find lots of holes in it because of the semi-precious stones and all were taken away. Okay, not only did they take the peacock throne, the Kohinoor here, everything, they even took this kind of things from us. Okay, but then I hope you have understood what is Pitra Dura. Next time, if you see one, will you be able to identify what is Pitra Dura? Pitra Dura in Mughal architecture. Can you see? Okay, and so this is something we read a lot in art and culture. Okay, and art and culture is important for your art. See, can you see they are in ruins? But how beautiful it is. Okay, so this is Pitra Dura. So I hope you have one little bit of art and culture. Okay, Pitra Dura is they started decorating walls with floral designs made of semi-precious stones. Now built Moti Masjid at Lahore. Very Google Moti Masjid later. It's very beautiful, and the use of halo or divine lights behind the kings started under him. You know what is halo? Whenever we see an image of Jesus Christ or Mary, tala backside all of radiance hai na hai. Okay, whenever you see a picture of Jesus or Mary or whichever deity, Gautama Buddha and all, usually there is a radiance or there is some kind of white light behind them. No, ito ke koi halo or divine lights behind the king head started. So all these are painting khande ko aise, painting architecture khande ko aise. Okay, this is in terms of painting. This is to show the divine theory of kings. Okay, that kings or emperors in India or emperors in the world, they are representing gods. Okay, now let's come to Shah Jahan. Jahangir's son is Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan succeeded Jahangir and ascended the throne in 1628. 3 years after accession, his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal passed away. We all know her. Okay, his Deccan policy was very successful. Both Bijapur and Golconda signed a treaty with the emperor. Nothing much to read about this. He started new capital as Shah Jahanabad. Okay, and it was a new addition to the old residential city of Delhi with Red Fort, Jama Masjid, Chandni Chowk. If you ever go to Delhi and you visit Delhi, then you will find Red Fort and Red Fort to Red Fort and Chandni Chowk. These are still very much, it has to be very well preserved, and Chandni Chowk still has that very old Delhi vibes. Okay, and also it's still bustling with still bustling with, it's a very bustling marketplace. Okay, so Red Fort, Jama Masjid, Chandni Chowk and all, we owe all this to Shah Jahan. Okay, and so salutation. Chahar, Taslim, and Zaimnabos. Remember kissing the ground. Remember, earlier Balban introduced Paibos, that is kissing the feet of the Sultan, right? King. But under Shah Jahan, it is Zaimabos, that is kissing the ground. Like you don't have to kiss the feet of the emperor, but you will like bow down and you will kiss the ground on which the emperor is standing. Like kind of indication that ground is a holy ground. Okay, this is something, this holy ground is something we have so much in Christian Bible. They will say yes or no. Do you know where it's mentioned in the Bible? Okay, holy ground, right? Okay, God will ask somebody to remove his chappal because he is standing on the holy ground. Who was he? Chalo. Very good. Moses. Okay, Moses ke kuwatai. Burning bush, right? Okay, now coming back. Leave it. You are busy studying Balban, so you didn't have time for Moses. I understood. Okay, now during his reign, during his reign, whose reign? Shah Jahan reign. Okay, during his reign, a war of succession among his sons broke out. Okay, a war of successions among his sons broke out, and we all know the Shah Jahan reign is popular for his war of succession among his sons. Okay, and so his court historian, who was the court historian of Shah Jahan? Abdul Hamid Lahori. Okay, Abdul Hamid Lahori. In some books, it will be Hamid also Hamid. Same as say. Don't be like, Miss never taught me about this Hamid. I only know Hamid. Hamid Lahori same as say. And he wrote Bashanama. Okay, so Bashanama, Tuzuk e Jahangiri, Akbar Nama, it can janibi. Okay. Now architecture. See, Shah Jahan is mostly known for his architecture. Okay, for his architecture. So let's see. He built the Taj Mahal in the year 1632 to 33. Moti Masjid was entirely made of these things. I'll go a little fast because I don't. These are all factuals. We don't need to discuss much. Taj Mahal banai she, Moti Masjid banai she, Sheesh Mahal banai she, Red Fort banai she, Diwan-e-Am, Diwan-e Khas, Jama Masjid in Delhi, Shalimar Bagh, Shah Jahanabad, Pitra Dura method was used in a large scale in Taj Mahal by Shah Jahan. Now, Aurangzeb, okay, Aurangzeb. Okay, Aurangzeb. What is Aurangzeb? Okay, so see, Diwan-e Khas was during Akbar time. They be but Akbar time it was more of a concept. Okay, it was more of a concept. Diwan-e-Am is the assembly where you sit with the local people. Diwan-e Khas is where you sit with the nobles, right? But during the time of Shah Jahan only, this architecture like building that's one came about. It is it clear? Okay, so I hope you understand that. Now let's come to Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb is one of the most important Mughal emperors because do you remember I gave it this example during Balban? Okay, so says zenith, topmost punche. Okay, the Mughal rule reached the zenith, top punche during Aurangzeb, but it also Tala reign time day towards the last reign time day, you can see the declining of Mughal emperor, right? Okay, Mughal empire. So he crowned himself at Delhi. Aurangzeb to be ruthless king ekta ase. Whenever you hear of Aurangzeb, we don't get good vibes from Aurangzeb because he is remembered in history as a very ruthless king. Okay, a very ruthless king. Now he crowd himself at Delhi in 16, like so unlike his father. Okay, in 1658 he built his formal you know what is coronation, right? Okay, coronation means the official crowning of the emperor. Okay, done in next year after the final defeat. Aurangzeb defeated his brother Dara Shikoy. Okay, Dara Shikoy was a very it's a historians not argue matlab aaj tak bhi there is a debate, like, because Dara Shikoy was also one of the sons of Shah Jahan. Okay, and Aurangzeb was also son of. See, just because we are sibling doesn't mean we are all of us are same. Some among us siblings also some are very mon biya, some are very calm quiet এরকম থাকে না থাকে তো সবসে মন বিয়া খেচরা Aurangzeb and সবসে মন ভালো wala. Okay, Dangor सबसे matured wala was Dara Shikoy. Okay, so Dara Shikoy and Aurangzeb had the battle, and then Aurangzeb defeated Dara Shikoy. So many historians sometimes used to even say what history of India would have been different if Dara Shikoy would have won the battle instead of Aurangzeb. Then our history would have been totally different because we wouldn't have had Aurangzeb in the first place, right? Okay, but then if you have time, you can just go and Google that. If not, then move on. He accorded the first lady status to her sister. What happened to Aurangzeb? You know what Aurangzeb did? Aurangzeb killed all his brothers, imprisoned his father. Baba ke jail de dhalishe, like a bon kona rakishe till his last death, to be looked after by his sisters, and also he doesn't have a good reputation. But again, we can't judge him because during those time, that kingship was everything, right? Okay. So his sons were Shah Alam, Muazzam, Kambaksh, Akbar too, and all. Okay, he assumed the title of Alamgir. This is very important, guys. Alamgir. Okay, Alamgir matla. And also he was a very uh, religious, orthodox religious king. Matlab tai paka like pure orthodox Muslim ase tai. Tai persecution of the Hindus used to happen under him. Okay, persecution. A secular king. He was not a secular king. Not like his grandfather Akbar and all. Okay, not like his father and all. His father was also a very secular king, but he was not. Okay, now let's see. He assumed the title of Alamgir, world conqueror. Okay, world conqueror, and sometimes there is some books you'll find Jahan Soz also. Now, what is Zinda Pir? He also called him Zinda Pir, but means the living saint, something like that. If I have to literally translate it, okay, living Zinda Pir. Okay, so he was a very staunch Muslim ruler. During his reign, the Mughal Empire reached its greatest extent, reached its top zenith punche, ruling. However, okay, ruling over nearly the entire subcontinent. Okay, but Aurangzeb, on the one hand, his morals are very much questionable. But then when you look at his military, somebody has turned on your microphone. Who is it? Can you please turn it off? Okay. Okay. Be careful, guys. Okay. Look. See, one hand, his morals are very questionable. Okay. His morals are very questionable, but on the other hand, he was a very able ruler. He was able to unify India. He was able to give that kind of the power, that the prestige. He was able to restore back of the power and prestige of the Mughals. Okay, so then now let's see. Aurangzeb is also known to be a very staunch king. Like I said, drinking was prohibited. Okay, and cultivation and use of bhang and other drugs were also banned. We should religious tagishe tai. Okay, we should religious tagishe. Although he was proficient in playing veena, he knows how to play veena, but he forbade music in the court. No music, no dancing in the court. Okay, itu nishna, because then it will make him look very unserious king. Say, okay, unserious king ase. He discontinued the practice of Jharoka Darshan. This is all to keep his image as a very stern king. Okay, Jharoka Darshan, pata hai? Remember? Yesterday I explained what is Jharoka Darshan or not. Okay. Jharoka Darshan was like they will come, the ruler will come and speak to the people, right? Okay, that one, not there. Aurangzeb built Bibi Ka Maqbara. Maqbara is like a tomb, a replica of Taj Mahal. Okay. Maqbara is like a tomb, okay? Coffin. Is Taj Mahal also a Maqbara? Is Taj Mahal also a Maqbara? Yes, Taj Mahal is also a Maqbara. Very good. Okay, it is also a Maqbara. Okay. Uh, so if you if you have remember when we were young, somebody will go to Delhi and bring the replica of Taj Mahal little bit as a souvenir. Yeah. So if you have it in your house, you are keeping somebody's tomb in your house, okay? So this is a warning I got from one of my Punjabi friend. She told me, okay, I went to Agra and bought so many replicas or so many souvenirs, okay? And she told me, this is a Maqbara, why are you keeping it in your house? After that, my basic structure got shaken. I was like, yeah, it's true, okay? I wouldn't want to do that. Okay, Bibi Ka Maqbara. Maqbara is a replica of Taj, is the Aurangabad, and Moti Masjid near fort. Okay, near fort. This is important. I told you that he was a very religious, intolerant king. Itu karne he reimposed jizya and pilgrim tax. Pata hai jizya kya hai? Remember? So any ruler who is giving much importance to jizya, or any ruler who is kind of forcing the people to pay jizya speaks volumes that this ruler is not a religious tolerant king, right? Okay, chalo. Now he executed the ninth sixth Guru Tegh Bahadur. Remember last time somebody was asking me about GTB Nagar Road in Delhi? This is Guru Tegh Bahadur. Okay, that same Guru Tegh Bahadur. Okay, he executed the sixth Guru Tegh Bahadur. He banned the Sijda. You know, Sijda? Please, guys, tell me you remember what is Sijda and Paibos? This is Balban. I hope you have not forgotten Balban. After one Sunday, I hope you have not forgotten Balban. Sajda means like bowing in front of the king. Okay. His religious policy was responsible for turning the Rajput, the Marathas, the Sikh onto the enemies of the Mughal Empire. You see, he was a very bigot religious intolerant king. That is why, be it the Rajput, be it the Marathas, and be the Sikh, everybody started hating the Mughal Empire. Okay. He was also not tolerant of other Muslim sects. See, you have so many Muslim sects. You have the Shias and the Sunnis, right? Okay. So not only other tribes, but there are some people like Aurangzeb. I hope you are not one of them. There are some people who are Christians. They call themselves Christians, but they do so much of racism or discrimination against other religion. There are also some people who call themselves Christians, but apni la denomination ki hi apni praise kare aro dusra denomination ki apni chi chi thu thu kare. Is it clear? Itu nishnam, that is, I don't think in any way they are a good Christian. Okay, if you are a good Christian, I think you should be respectful to every religion, respectful to every denomination. But there are some people who will even die for their denomination. Okay, as if you died and went to heaven and came back. Okay, so Aurangzeb is one of those. Okay, he's a Muslim. He claims that he's a true Muslim, but he hates all other religion, and he also hates other people who are not from the same sect. Okay, now, so Itukhan Manu Ishna don't know, he will have many enemies. Okay, now, important officials during Mughal Empire, the Diwane-e-Wazir was the head of revenue department. Mir Bakshi was the military department. See, this is under Mughals, okay? Under Delhi is different, under Mughals is different. Under Delhi Sultan is different, under Mughal Empire is different. Mir Saman is imperial household. Barits is intelligent officers. Ito to kita bhi change na kare. Barits means intelligence officers, okay? Wakai, Navis, these are like Adona, okay? If Adona was alive during the time of Aurangzeb, he would have been a Wakai Navis, okay? Mr. Adona, and not forgetting, sorry, not only Mr. Adona, what's his name? See, Common Public Platform also, okay, will be one of the Wakai Navis, Common Public Platform, okay. Yes, Qazi is head of judicial. Whenever you heard the word Qazi is like judge or judicial officer, okay. Aloto also, okay. With all the respect to Mr. Aloto, okay, in one of his news, I heard he told his subscribers, kote vi ki news hele apni khan moi ki kobi. Moi ki nokesh gile to moi ki nga apni khan ke kobo. Okay. This is something I can never forget. With all the respect to him, I'm not throwing shade at him. Okay, clear? This is what I found it very funny. Okay. He was telling his subscribers, anything happens, tell me. Okay. If you don't tell me, how will I know? Tell me so that I can tell you. Right? Okay. With all the respect, okay, I'm just making the classroom a little light, okay, and not throwing shade at him. Now, there must be there somewhere in his YouTube channel. Sardar ul Sadar is in charge of charitable and religious endowments, okay, and look at this, Mutasidi, governor of ports. These things I just gave extra. If you want to ignore, you can ignore, but it can't do na paribi. Mir Bakshi Khan, Wazir, Barretts, okay, Wakai Navis, Qazi. Now, village administration. How was village under the Mughals? Muqaddam was the head of the village. Patwari was an accountant. Okay. Later, Mughals and a decline of a war of succession broke out among the sons of Aurangzeb. When the Mughal Empire's father Aurangzeb died in the year 1700, it shouldn't be 1701, it should 1707. It's wrong. It's 1707. Okay, wait. Let me write something. Let me write it down that I have to correct this later on. Give me 1 second, okay? I'll write it with my pen. Then correct. There is a correction to be done in the slide. Okay. Or I can do it now. So give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Chalo. He passed away in the year 1707. Okay. So when he passed away, see, this is called karma, classic karma. Okay, clear? Aurangzeb fought with all his brothers during the reign of his father, and Taibi war of succession. Even his sons will have to go through that. Okay. Muazzam emerged victorious after defeating Muhammad Azam Shah making a crucial chapter in the history of the Mughal Empire. So who ascended after him? Okay, the successors of Aurangzeb. I've given in very short because itna zyada padne ki zarurat nahi hai. Successors of Aurangzeb. Muazzam is also known as Bahadur Shah I. Okay, Bahadur Shah I. So can you see for how, look, 1707, 12, 12 to 13. Remember 6, 7 years ago, once upon a time when Rio and TR Zileng had a fight. Okay, and Rio had the fight, and then like Ajitai chief minister, Kalitai chief minister, Ududdin, and then so they were running from here to here, Kaziranga de Polavo, and then one day we'll get new chief minister, different new chief minister. That was happening exactly like that is happening. Okay, war of succession was happening. You see, this is small. Just look how much. Oh, now they are best friends. Okay, but once upon a time. So you see, Muazzam, and can you see from the tenure also? Okay, can you see tenure also that 17, 17, 12, 12 to 13, okay, 13 to 19, right? 19 to this, ito to olop bishi jabo. Alibi, tay olop bishi jabo, but he is the most coward, I should say. Will come later. Muazzam, so at the age of 67 years at Agra, more tolerant towards the Hindus, never abolished jizya but did not collect the tax strictly, granted Marathas Sardesh Mukhi of the Khan, give him the title of Shah-e-Khabar. Tagi Shah-e-Khabar. See, he was from the facts I have given about him. You can see how chilled he is. Can you see how chill he is? Okay, bishi chill says I sabi. He's more tolerant towards the Hindus. Tai jizya to abolish kara but tax bishi man strictly be collect na kare. Aur Marathas khangi bhi kushi. Apni khan Sardesh Mukhi means the right to collect tax. Okay, apni khan dakhan deki lo bole onse lo lobi. So tai ye bekhabar gaye. Shah bekhabar. Shah bekhabar means like oh, he's very chill. Bekhabar. Okay, bishi na like yeah. Chill is the word. Okay, Jahandar Shah. Next is Jahandar Shah. He will start Ijjatdari system. Ijjatdari system is revenue farming, and he will abolish jizya. Next is Farrukh Shiar. This is also one of the these kings. Okay, if I talk about Farrukh Shiar and Muhammad Shah and all, I want to get angry, but then means I have to control my emotions and go ahead because I don't know what were they thinking. I don't know what Farrukh Shah was thinking, but then I can't blame Farrukh Shah also because by this time, you know what? The British have become very powerful now. I mean, the Portuguese have become very powerful and British are already 1712 day. Okay, in the year 1712, see, Farrukh Shah ascended the throne in 1713 or not? 1712 day, you know what? In the Sea of Surat, Pani te, Sea of Surat te, British aro Portuguese jagara bhi start hoise. They even started a battle in India, okay, while the Mughal emperors are there. So you see how guts, the guts of these outsiders, Portuguese and Englishmen to just come and fight in our land. But then, so you see, by the time he ascended the throne, the English and the Portuguese are already settled in India. It's like their home only. Okay. So he was puppet of Sayyid brothers. Sayyid brothers became the kingmakers. Okay. Abdullah Khan and Hussein Ali Khan. Puppet Thakshe. And history day, he is well known, remembered for giving Farman to the British. We will do this in modern history day purva. But then they सबसे ब्लंडर डांगोर ब्लंडर का 1717 टाइप ब्रिटिशर्स खांगे बिशी प्रिविलेज बिशी दिशे बहुत सारे प्रिविलेजेस दिया उसने okay he was dethroned by the Sayyid brothers now Rafi ud Darajat, I know some of you have heard his name for the first time in your life because itna important bhi nahi hai uska dekho rule for the shortest period of time among the Mughal Empire, but I've just given for GK wise. Now let's talk about Muhammad Shah, and his name is Rangila. Rangila means colorful, okay? Rangila means colorful. Okay, and I don't think that's a good comment for a king. Okay, Rangila. Okay, he's known as Rangila for his the pleasure loving king. Okay, he was a very pleasure loving king. So he got a title of Rangila. Okay. Why do we remember him? We remember Muhammad Shah in history because he was a coward and he ran away. Okay. So Muhammad Shah time, you see, he ruled for a very long time, almost 20 years. Nisha ruled 20 plus years ruled. But you know what? First thing first, doesn't much reputation nahi hai kyunki usko Rangila bulate hai. Not only that, during his time, two famous chor came to India. Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah. I call them chor because they are chor. Okay, they came, they stole everything from us. See, Today also 2024, guys. 2024 day, 60 crore is a lot of money or not? 60 crores is a lot of money. You and I will die without earning 60 crores, and you and I will die without even seeing what is 60 crore. Hatte bhi naibo na dikhibo aro mura bhi muri jabo. Unless you do corruption, of course, if you do corruption, then 60 crore I will chances. But then you see 60 crore is a lot of money. RGB 60 crore to Bishi say, okay, all of us combined together also, we won't have 60 crore. I think at the most we will have, I don't know, 60,000, all of us combined in our bank account. Okay, 60 crore RGB Bishi say. Do you know, during this 18th century day, the Ahmad Shah Abdali and Nadir Shah came. Ahmad Shah Abdali and Nadir Shah Aigena, they stole, they stole approximately 60 crore Nishna stole and went back. Okay, itu time that, imagine that time. Okay, when even like, I don't know, red color or copper coins was used. 60 crore is a big deal. Okay, so I call them chore. They stole a lot of, but of course not like the chore like the British. But these people also stole a lot from us. Nadir Shah and these people were not only chore, they were very ruthless chore. Okay, so Muhammad Shah, when Nadir Shah invaded India, Ahmad Shah Abdali invaded India, Muhammad Shah okay. So they came to looted India. He took away the famous, even the Kohinoor diamond was taken away from them. Nadir Shah was defeated at the Battle of Karnal. Okay. Ahmad Shah Abdali was raided Delhi for the first time during his reign. Ahmad Shah Abdali to aro wapas aibo, don't worry. Ahmad Shah. Okay. Ahmad Shah, this guy, Ahmad Shah. Okay. Ahmad Shah Abdali is Ahmad Shah Abdali is different, okay? This is Ahmad Shah Abdali is, and Nadir Shah is different. Dekhan invaders kana say Bahar Raisha Iran. Okay, this is Ahmad Shah is different. You know what? This guy is the successor of Muhammad Shah. What did he do? He left the state affairs in the hands of Udham Bai. Udham Bai is not known as a dancing girl. Would you give and leave your kingdom in the hands of a person who is famously known as a dancing girl? With all due respect, I'm not saying dancing girls cannot be wise in this one. I'm just saying, look at this. Is it clear? Okay. And Ahmad Shah Abdali of Iran will invade India 3 times during this reign. Ahmad Shah Abdali invades for the fourth time. Can you see? Ahmad Shah Abdali will invade, keep on invading. Okay, tai wapas bar aayi tha. Alamgir 2. Battle of Plassey was fought during his reign. Ito karni very important hai. Okay, Plassey mein kya hua? Britishers have defeated the powers of Bengal in Plassey in the year 1757, and during this time Alamgir 2 was ruling. Okay, Shah Alam 2. Shah Alam 2 is important, very, very important, because during his time, Monduk Lage, very unlucky, was very unlucky, because during his time, he will witness the Battle of Panipat, he will witness Battle of Boxar, he will witness Treaty of Allahabad. Very unlucky in my opinion. Okay, he ruled in India during the worst times of India, that is Battle of Panipat. Panipat was fought between, not the Mughals, okay, Panipat was fought between Ahmad Shah Abdali and, remember this, Ahmad Shah Abdali, the chore, okay. The third Battle of Panipat was fought between Ahmad Shah Abdali and the Marathas. Marathas can fight kurwa. And who wins? Ahmad Shah Abdali will win. So, guys, never ever forget this. I forgot to give here, but I'll give. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll just add the year, okay? I'll just add this Battle of Panipat. Just add the year I forgot to give. 1761. This is the third Battle of Panipat, okay? So, ये कभी नहीं भूलना है. 1761 तो किताबी ना पढ़ो अपनी, 61 किताबी ना पढ़ी भी, because in this third Battle of Panipat, Marathas were defeated. And you know what? After this, Mohan Marathas, Marathas will give up their dream of ever ruling India. Give up Kridi Watakhan. Okay, and Marathas will only be reduced to a regional power. Regional power participate in the Battle of Boxar. Battle of Boxar participate crucial 1764. He was forced to sign the Treaty of Allahabad 1765. All this ye baad mein aayega. Don't worry, ye modern history mein padhenge. Akbar II. Akbar II is the person who gave the title Raja to Raja Ram Mohan Roy. समझ में आया? Okay. Chalo. So Akbar to and Raja Ram Mohan Rai were good friends. Now this is Bahadur Shah too, the last Mughal emperor. He was an Urdu poet using Zafar as his pen name. Bahadur Shah Zafar bhi kohta hai. Bahadur Shah too bhi koi. Zafar was his pen name. He participated in the revolt. Again, this guy is the most unlucky guy again. Most, ये बहुत unlucky था. उसके बाद again ये बहुत unlucky है. Okay. So sometimes if you feel unlucky, just remember Bahadur Shah had to go more worse the situation than you. Okay, clear? If you think moi bisha unlucky aise, please remember Bahadur Shah and Mon Dangur Kurubi. Okay, because you know what, Bahadur Shah was the last Mughal emperor. Tai piche de Mughals khan khatam kori dibo. Tai la bachala any. You know what will happen to you know what will happen to Bahadur Shah, two last sons, and see, because after Bahadur Shah, okay, after Bahadur Shah, Mughal khange khatam kori dishe. Tahan gusha ajibra. The British say that from today onwards there will be no Mughals. Okay, the British crown say there will be no Mughals. So Mughal khala niche de tala offspring thakbo na thakbo. The next in line. Okay, the next in line thakbo na thakbo. So you know what happened? All the male heir, okay, or all the possible male cousins, brothers, sisters, whoever is related to Bahadur Shah, or from all the royal blood, so of Kelain, Grishe, and all of them were shot dead, butchered. Okay, so that after Bahadur Shah, nobody will ever ascend the throne in the name of the Mughals. You understand? So he had to witness all that. Tayo ito sa witness Grishe, and not only that, he was even exiled to Rangoon. Okay, and he died from there. Okay, because he participated in the revolt of 1857. So this is very sad. No matter how unlucky we get in life, we will never see this day. No, itu nishnaiman level tak unlucky to na jawa, right? So always remember, if you ever get unlucky, remember Bahadur Shah. And comparing to Bahadur Shah, your life is very much lucky. Okay, clear? Understanding? Okay. Reasons for the decline of Mughal Empire: lack of stability after Aurangzeb. That is very simple. Most of the emperors of the Mughal Empire became puppets in the hands of the powerful nobles. Yes or no? Emergence of autonomous states, like you see, when Delhi became weak, so many independence kingdoms started declaring their independence. Like I said, if Delhi becomes weak, if today the central government becomes weak, Nagaland will declare independence, Khalistan will declare independence, Tamil Nadu will declare independence, Kashmir probably will declare independence. You understand? Exactly like that. When Kashmir, sorry, why am I talking about Kashmir a lot? You guys will be thinking, Miss to pro Pakistan, pro Kashmir, because in my India map there is no Kashmir, totally no Jammu and Kashmir, no Nagaland, no Northeast. Can you see? Very controversial India map. When Delhi Mughal Empire became weak, Bengal declared independence. Okay, Bengal declared independence. Number two, Hyderabad declared independence. Awadh declared independence. Okay, Marathas, Mysore, okay, when they became weak. So, and also one of the reason is orthodox policy of Aurangzeb. I've told you this already. Okay, nobody likes a person who is always spewing hatred. No, so Aurangzeb was one. His attitude towards the Marathas, his attitude towards the Rajputs made them his enemy. His religious policy alienated the Hindus. Okay, the Hindus couldn't come to love Aurangzeb because Aurangzeb was very much was throwing atrocities at them, right? So these are some of the reasons which led to the Mughal Empire, the decline of the Mughal Empire. Okay, now we will take up modern history from 1498 and 1857. Okay, so we are not going to start from here. We're not going to start from here. Okay, modern history doesn't start from here. Modern history starts from 1498. We have to go back again. Modern history that ever start Kuba. You understand? So with this, you are done with medieval. Let me save it. Let's come to modern. Okay. Modern is, look, this is how we're going to read modern. Okay, we are into two phases. And so if you are completely zero person in history, iku na jane, aro time bi nai, prelims I say, aro moi to 0% de ase kushe gule to, ito second party puribi, mostly, in my opinion. Okay. But then if you have time, if you have energy, if you have resources, you have to read everything. Okay, so when I say किसी का microphone on है? Somebody? Chalo. I got a disturbance. Chalo. Now, look at this. When I say modern India, it can be, pay attention guys, very important. Modern India ko le do EIC rule, crown rule. Mohan, every time koi na koi British rule in India, British rule in India. Okay, we always say India was under British rule, India was under British rule, correct? India was under British rule, but then we have two eras. One is India was under the East India Company rule. East India Company is a private company under from Britain, from London. Are you understanding? Okay, itu concept na bujhi your modern history will be very difficult. Okay, अगर ये concept समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो आपका modern history आपको आधा तो समझ में नहीं आएगा. So that's why I will take a little time and explain what is this funda of this EIC rule and all. Okay, clear? So EIC rule means this is algebra diagram. This is India. India was under EIC and EIC was under British Crown. So British Crown is not directly ruling India. Can you see? British Crown is ruling EIC and EIC is ruling India. This is it. Okay, India was under EIC rule from, if I have to be very specific, it's 1757 ba na revolt of 1857 tak ase. Bushna bushane. 1757 is Battle of Plassey. Okay. See, will you ever forget revolt of 1857? Nobody in this classroom ever forgets revolt of 1857, right? Nobody ever forgets. ये भूलने की बात ही नहीं. 18 revolt of 1857. तो किताबें ना पढ़ो अपनी लाइफ पे. अली भी अपनी Battle of Plassey तो पढ़ी जाए. Battle of Plassey पढ़े ना पढ़े. You don't know when Battle of Plassey was fought. And Battle of Plassey is the first step. Battle of Plassey was the beginning, the genesis of British rule in India. The beginning ase. So Battle of Plassey to na jane only be revolt of 1857 to jane. You know what? Shortcut sabi. Itu 8 ke 7 banai dibi hoise. 1757 is Battle of Plassey, okay? 100 years ase division lab. 100 years ase. 1757 to 1857 is 100 years or not? Ito ase trick. This is the trick, guys. 8 hai, isko 7 bana do. 1757 is Battle of Plassey. Okay, clear? Oh, okay. Some of you are like shocked, blown away. Your mind has blasted. Okay, clear? How I never knew this. Okay, clear? You never knew this because you never focus 5 minutes on your book only. Okay. 1857 took mano kun bhi na pore. Okay. So 17 that ekta 7 dal dibi hoise 1757. Okay. And everyone understood that. It rolled of 1857 1858 par lagi na 1947 तक crown rule ase. Matlab now India is directly under the crown. Directly. Okay. Directly. This is ninja technique. Okay. See, you have to read itna sara dates, more than 600 plus dates you have to memorize. Okay. कुछ ना कुछ तो जुगाड़ करना पड़ेगा. Okay. ये मेरा जुगाड़ है. I'm sharing with you. Okay. So crown rule is now India is directly under EIC भाड़ में गया. EIC चला गया. 1857 पीछे दे, revolt of 1857 पीछे दे. The British Crown will tell EIC get lost. जाओ. Okay, अपनी लाभ अपनी भाल रसाने इंडिया के. Okay, itu करनी मन दंगो revolution लाई से इंडिया ते. Okay, इतना तो मुखन direct सही लोगो. That is revolt of 1857. Okay, so sometimes we feel very proud that we had a revolt of 1857, India's first war of independence. But अच्छा से देखो यार, we didn't benefit anything from it. Okay, we didn't benefit anything from it. The only benefit we had was like probably emotionally, psychologically we had some benefits, but thinking about it, after revolt of 1857, crown directly ruled us, and we suffered more under the crown. Okay, clear? So you see, revolt of 1857 was good news. Like it gave a very good avenue for the crown rule. Okay, clear? For the crown rule. So let's say this is you, this is your friend, and your friend is holding a glass. Okay, your friend is holding a glass, very beautiful glass, so beautiful glass. Okay, and then you want to hold this glass directly, but you can't because it belongs to your friend. Okay, but your friend nearly dropped it, and it nearly broke. So then tell your friends, this is British Crown, this is India, this is EIC. Okay, EIC ko bola, because of you, we nearly lost India, Jai Devi. Okay, now we will directly control India, and that is how crown will begin. From today onwards, always remember, if you are talking itula era la khotagurasigulito, you cannot say crown rule. Okay, itula era khotagurasiguli. Just remember, India is under EIC. Okay, India is under EIC. Okay, but then if you are talking from here to here, then you can always say India is under crown rule. To Janibi. Okay, I hope it's clear. This is very important for you to know which era India was under the company rule, which era India was under the crown rule. Yete mukhala king ase aro queen ase, mukhala viceroy ase. Okay, crown rule te mukhan viceroy thakibo, viceroy. Okay, and yete to ki thakibo? Yete to governor general of Bengal, governor general of India kan thakibo. Okay, chalo now. Also, let us talk about another thing that is, okay, when I talk about modern India, I'm going to talk about in this manner. Okay, modern India, modern India, we're going to read about these things. We're going to read about number 1. This is how our chronology is going to go. Arrival of Europeans. Europeans can India the king Aisha. Okay. Oh my God. 1857 Punchanai. We are in 1498, guys. Don't rush. Okay. 1857 dedicated slide is there. Whole chapter is there. Don't worry about it. Okay. We are in modern India. We're going to start in 1498. Okay. 15th century there se Mohan. Apni 19th century la question there se. Arrival of Europeans. Okay. First, we're going to read about Portuguese, the Dutch, the Danes, the Danish East India Company, the English, and the French. These are the people who will come to India. Okay. Here, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the Danes, the English, the French. Okay. These are the famous Europeans who will come to India for what? To trade. Okay. To trade in India. To trade. Trading from Portugal, from Netherlands, from France, from London, from Sweden. All of them will come. Would you say? Okay. With the purpose of trade. So we're going to read about how Portuguese came, how English came, how French came, and how they fought with each other. And last day, English power ho jabo. The English will first defeat all the Europeans, okay? And itu local rulers khandi jabo. Itu janibi. Next is, I think we're going to talk about the Marathas and little bit in short, Marathas and Mysore. Uske baad, we're going to talk about the conquest of Bengal. King on Bengal, the British kan lahat ai. After Bengal, we're going to talk about the revolt of 1857. After revolt of 1857, we are going to talk about the formation of the Indian National Congress, INC, 1885. And from this point onwards, it is known as Indian National Movement, INM koi. From 1885 to 1947 is known as INM, the Indian National Movement. Are you understanding? Itu kan do INM no koi, okay? Portuguese, Mysore, Bengal, 1857 kenge INM no koi. Indian National Movement. Okay, itu era from 1885 to 1947 is known as Indian National Movement, INM. Itu apni 0% wala category aise gule itu pari bishu puri. Okay, during this time there was no nationalism, there was no like ye mera Bharat Mahan Inqilab Zindabad khan thaka na itu time te hai wo INM te hai wo. Got it? With the arrival of Gandhi, with Nehru, with Vallabhai Patel, with Subhash Chandra Bose, this with Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and all, it will come here. So have you understood? India national movement can start grado 1885 from era will be known as the Indian national movement INM. Okay, clear? Chalo, coming back. Ito ka na bujishe gale apni la modern history all of difficult hobo. These are basics of modern history, okay? So we'll first do arrival of Europeans, Marathas, Mysore, Bengal, 1857. Ito piche te we're gonna go to who was moderates, extremists, and all. Got it? Chalo. Now let us come to the Portuguese. The Portuguese were the first to come. They were last to leave also. Okay, the Portuguese people came first. Britishers come to 1600 to 1498 India punchiche. Okay, but they were not toxic like the English people. Is it clear? Okay, so let's see. The Portuguese. If this was offline class, I would have taught you like entire 2 hours will lecture will go on why Portuguese came first, how they came first, kote rasta kundu rasta logi na aishe, okay, kila aishe, okay. But then this is offline class. Online class we don't have that much freedom. Let's see. The Portuguese governors in India. Vasco da Gama Nisha nai. Nisha, right? Vasco da Gama was the one from Portugal, okay, from Portugal. Okay, who is there in Portugal? The famous footballer, not cricketer, sorry. Okay, okay, CR7. Okay, the Ronaldo. Oh, even Messi is from Portugal. I never knew that. Sorry, okay. I'm more of somebody wrote Messi. Okay, Ronaldo. Okay, Argentina. Okay, Messi is from India. Yeah, makes sense. Messi is from Bihar. Look at this. Okay, I am more of Virat Kohli fan than these people, so I don't know. Okay, but then have you understood Vasco da Gama is from Portugal? Okay, so just remember this. Pay attention. Now, always remember, you will never ever forget India independence kita paise 1947 te paise na pane. India independence kita paise 1947 te paise na pane. Itu kunmi na bharibo. None of you will ever forget this, right? Plus ekta plus kuri dibi morom ra ekta sal plus kuri dibi 1948 hoishna hanai. This is another ninja technique to memorize. In which year Vasco da Gama came to India? 1947 ekta plus kuri dibi 48 hoishna. Okay, 1498. 1498. Can you see 1498? Okay, 1498. 1498. Okay, this is so easy. Now your life is being simplified. Okay, this is why you take coaching. Okay, this is are the reasons why you take coaching. This is your 200 rupees is like pura paisa vasool hoye jaise. Itu trick pra. Okay, this one trick has pura paisa vasool ho gaya. Okay, so 1498. Remember? Okay, ulta kuri dibi. Okay, the Portuguese slowly began. Please don't miss exam de apni like over excitement there 1948 tik na kuri. Okay, 1498. Idu duita place change karubo. Okay, 1498. The Portuguese slowly began to dominate trade and the region. So after 7 years of engagement in India, the Portuguese in the year 1505. Okay, Portuguese can 1505 te slow. See, 1498 te aishe edu time there no European was there. No other Europeans have discovered new sea roads. So Portuguese were the first ones. Portuguese were the first ones to come to the class. And so they can sit in the front, they can sit in the back, wherever they want to sit. So in the year 1505, Portuguese government, the government of Portugal decided that they will send a governor to India now. Because by 1505, Portuguese have jaga under their control. Not annexation, okay? Under means by 1505 they have like factories in India. So India ke takhan la factories sabo karne governor appoint kura start hoise. Permanent governor appoint kurishe to administrative. So abolition of the title. Okay, which title? The title was abolished in 1961 after India's victory over Operation Vijay. Now pay attention, guys. Britishers came in the year 1608 and left in the year 1947. Your Portuguese came in the year 1498 and left us only in the year 1961. Can you believe that even after independence, there were so many areas which was still under the Portuguese rule, okay? Fun fact. So India had to took it by force, Operation Vijay Grishamukhan. And then we took it by force and we abolished this governor. Because even after independence, Goa, Puducherry and all was under the Portuguese, okay? Tumuhan by force parliament. Imagine Goa was under them. That is why Goa is like, has so much Western influence, yes or no? Okay, clear? So that is 1498 and 1961. I hope you have understood that. They were, just remember, they were the first to come, last to go. Now let's come to the governors of it's not governors, okay? You will later on tell me what is oven, okay? What is this oven? They brought a new oven or what, okay? Governors, governors. Governors of these are the Portuguese government. Look at the guts of these people. Look at the guts of these people, that this is our land, our country, and they are the ones sending governors to look after the Portuguese factories in India. Okay. Francisco de Almeida was the first governor from this to this. Okay, Francisco de Almeida. He was the first governor and the viceroy of the Portuguese state in India. He is known for blue water policy. What is blue water policy? Blue water policy means Francisco wanted to make Indians the master of. Sorry. Blue water policy means according to Francisco, whoever controls the Indian Ocean, it is Indian Ocean. Kun India Ocean control करवो, it to India के control करवो, तो उसको. Okay, whoever is controlling Indian Ocean is controlling India. So he wanted to make Portuguese the master of Indian Ocean. Are you understanding the logic? Blue water policy means that we should try to make the Portuguese the master of Indian Ocean. Because other Europeans to be it French, Dutch, Danes, English kote be Indian Ocean right? They will come to Indian Ocean. So his policy was that Portuguese power should be very strong in the Indian Ocean. So that if you control the Indian Ocean, you are controlling trade in India. That is blue water policy, okay? Itna bhi sochne ki zarurat nahi hai. Whatever I've explained is more than enough for your life. Have you understood that? Are you guys sleeping? Come to Alfonso de Albuquerque. Alfonso is also a name of a mango breed. You know or not? Alfonso. After this, I'll give 5 minutes water break. Okay, so wake up. Alfonso is okay. See, I don't know how they pronounce this. It's a Portuguese name, but I call it Albuquerque. Agar aapse nahi ho raha, you can call him barbecue also. It's fine. Okay, as long as you get the MCQ correct, it's okay. Albuquerque barbecue, jo bhi hai. Okay, and so the second Portuguese governor in India. Okay, the second Portuguese governor in India. Oh, see, why do I remember him as barbecue? Is because he did. Alfonso is considered to be the real founder of Portuguese power in India. Okay, you may say Miss Alfonso is not the real founder. This Francisco was the first one. Yes, Tai pehla tha, but he was the real. Matlab Tai kam sab Tai kurishe. By the way, Alfonso introduced, I think, tobacco in India. So some of your godfather, look at Alfonso is some of your godfather. Okay, some of you chew tobacco like it's the last day, right? Okay, so this guy is the one. He introduced tobacco. Okay, your godfather. You were searching for him, right? Okay, so he occupied Goa in the year 1510. Okay, 1510. Occupied Goa in the year 1510. It took bishi important as underline kurbi. Portuguese have now started trading, bra legina takan ruling bhi start hoise. Ruling kinga start kushe. They occupied Goa. Tai Sultan of Bijapur ke defeat kurishe aro Goa ke capture kurishe. That Goa came under the Portuguese rule. Now, can you see the change of attitude now? They are not only trading, but now they have started fighting with the local rulers and they have started occupying or annexing territories, and Goa was the first territory under them. And you know what? This was done in the year 1510. Okay, very important. Somebody in the middle of the night throws cold water on your face and ask, 1510 mein kya hua? You have to remember Goa under the Portuguese. Okay. Now, he is considered the real founder of Portuguese power in India. Now, let's come to it's not Nuno, it's Nino. Nino da Cuna, okay, or Kanha, whatever, okay. I forgot to tell you a very important point. Alfonso is considered to be the real founder for number one, occupied Goa and strengthened, and also he abolished sati. Thai sati abolished Krishna. Okay, in Goa. Give me 1 second. I'll add this. I forgot to add that. Thank you so much for reminding that. Okay. Chalo guys. This is one of the most striking feature of Alfonso. Okay. What he noticed was that when he this is sati is something you and I have never experienced. So you and I might think, yeah, bari baat hai, koi baat nahi, not a big deal. Imagine you us witnessing sati. So it was a very like different thing for Alfonso, and Alfonso immediately he realized this is wrong. Whatever custom tradition this is, this is wrong. Okay, and so he was not tai sati to all over India to type ban korle na paribo, because he doesn't have control all over India, but in and around Goa or wherever he was ruling, he abolished sati. Okay, asli feminist kana si to kan. Okay, he abolished sati in and around Goa. Okay, clear now. Nino da Kana. Who is Nino da Kana? Nino da Kana is uh he's a ninth governor, and you and I remember him because he killed Bahadur Shah of Gujarat. Remember Bahadur Shah? Humayun la enemy to? Tagi murai disha, okay? Bahadur Shah of Gujarat was killed by the Portuguese Ninoda Kana, and he shifted his headquarters, HQ headquarters of the Portuguese governor in India from Cochin to Goa in 1530. And during his tenure, Diu and Bassein, all this came under the Portuguese. Portuguese kanla power aro dangor extend hoishe tai ahap shite. Okay. With this we are done. Take a 3 minutes water break and come back, guys.
Nani Chujang. Oh, I see.
Econ, your mic is on. Econ Beni. I'm going to mute you, okay? Please make sure your microphones are always off. Unless you have some questions to ask. Is everyone back? Hello. I think it's 3 minutes already, is it? Okay. Okay, chalo. Coming back. 4 minutes already. Oh no, we're not here. Chalo, guys. Let's come to the Dutch people. Dutch. Okay, Netherlands. Dutch. That all of them came as a trading company. Dutch trading company. So in the 1602, the States General of the Netherlands merged various trading companies to form the East India Company of the Netherlands. This company was granted the authority to conduct wars, negotiate treaties, acquire territories, and establish fortresses in India. Okay, mandango power but they were not able to do much because English will defeat them. Trading centers, the Dutch established their control over Masulipatam. Okay, it's Masulipatam is present day is Machilipatam. Okay, Machilipatam. I will show you where it is. This is not okay. That is in the eastern side, okay? Southeast side, they say. Oh, yes, this is it. Okay, but I hope you have seen. This is it. This is Masulipatam, Machilipatam. Okay, Masulipatam. Now, let's see. Give me 1 second. During this time, I'll just draw a short. Ito ase Surat, ito ase Calicut, ito ase Masulipatam. These are important trading points ase. Okay, clear. Surat, Calicut, Masulipatam, right? Okay. So their control was over Masulipatam in the year 1605, and they established their settlement at Pulicat in 1610. So now let's come to the English. Not so important, okay? Just remember Takanla principal headquarters to Masulipatam. Let's come to the advent of the English. I could have ignored this chapter also, but I didn't want to, so I'm giving in very short. Now, English is something we have to read properly. Achha se padhna parega English to bishi deri jabo. Okay, let's see. The advent of the, okay, let's start with the year 1599. 1599, 1600, 1608, 1609. Okay, 1599 day in London. Okay, London day. One evening, all the influential traders and businessmen of London, private people, okay, private, not this one, the private merchants and traders of London, the wealthy ones, rich Manukhan, London de, ikilo de Aishe, and then they decided, let us form a private company. And the name of our private company will be East India Company. Are you understanding? This is I'm explaining the genesis of East India Company, okay? In the year 1599, the private traders in London, they got together and they decided to form a company. The name of the company is East India Company. And they decided that Mukhambi, Portuguese kan nishna, Dutch manu kan nishna, Mukhambi, India de jagana trade kuribo. But for that, we have to ask the Queen's permission or not. Queen la permission lagibo, right? So Queen ge hodishes, to Queen bra 1600 ke, the Queen Elizabeth I gave them a permission. Ito ke koi Queen Charter. Queen Elizabeth I ने 1600 को ये प्राइवेट कंपनी को दिया कि चलो आपको मिलेगा full exclusive rights to trade with India. Okay, exclusive trade means from all over. From see, why did EIC grew into a giant? क्यों ना EIC man दांगुर इतना छोटो private company पर क्यों ना India ruling has started because EIC was having exclusive trading rights. मतलब according to Queen Elizabeth I's charter, no other company will go from England and will trade with India. Only East India Company will go. That is exactly like Narendra Modi giving Miss Olive the exclusive right to trade with China. Within 2-3 days or 1 month or something, Miss will become a billionaire or not. Okay, nobody from India will go and trade with China. Only me and my company will go. Okay, so it can be a needle to an elephant. I don't care, to nuclear weapons. Will be anything coming from China will come through me. So then Miss will become billionaire or not? Yes or no? Okay, and I will become more rich than Ambani's or not? This is exactly how EIC became. EIC man dangur hoshe because EIC had exclusive trading rights with India. Ito bishi dangur ase. It's a very important fact. Remember, okay? 1608, the EIC East India Company with their ships. Okay, they reached India. Okay, they reached Surat, Punchishe, and then 1609 there Captain William Hawkins Jagana Jahangir ge lok paishe. Idu janibi. This is and after that the rest is a history. Let's see. In the year 1599, okay, a group of English merchants known as the Merchants Adventure. First they do EIC ko anay. First they khala nam takishe Merchants Adventure. Okay, like Aspirants Adventure. Like that, all of you group, right? Okay. A group of English merchants known as Merchants Adventure, they formed a company to pursue Eastern trade and share its high profits enjoyed by the Portuguese. Portuguese kan manu nishna mo khambi jayega na India de trade kurwa aibi. Okay, clear? Queen ke permission mangishe. Queen's Charter. Queen Elizabeth I issued a charter on December 31, 1600, granting exclusive trading rights to the newly formed company and EIC la short name, full name ke se jani wale monna nai, Governors and Company of Merchants of London Trading into East Indies. Are you understanding? But then itna lamba aapko yaad nahi hoga to East India Company bol do. Okay, Governors and Company of Merchants of London Trading into East Indies. But if you can memorize, it's well and good. Okay, so initially monopoly means controlled by one. Okay, so Narendra Modi ne bola Miss Olive's company will get 15 years monopoly trading with China. Matlab, for 15 years, nobody will trade with China. Only me and my company will trade with China. Okay, and whatever saman I have to bring from China, moi aniwa aro Indian market te moi hi bikri kuribo. 15 years. So the 15 years is a long period of time. Okay, so initially this charter was given for 15 years, but it will be extended. Jawo. EIC man dangon. You know what? Miss Olive became very rich after trading with China. Modi got jealous later, and then when I had when one mistake prata muke remove kari dibo, and that one mistake of the East India Company was revolt of 1857. Are you understanding? Okay, that is that. So I just want you guys to understand what is exclusive and monopoly. Okay, that is when you will understand. That is when you will understand how. That is when you will understand how massive this East India Company is. Okay, you will give more respect to East India Company when you know that East India is the only company that has monopoly over trade with India. So arrival, Captain, see, Ahado 1608 India Punchishe, but Jahangir la court to 1609 Aisha na paribi. Arrival at Jahangir's court. In the year 1609, Captain William Hawkins, I forgot the right William, but you all know, Captain William Hawkins arrived at the court of Jahangir and Surat Tekta factory Moramba Kholiwali Dibi Koishe. But then, see, when I say factory, agically, you might think it's a big production house. No. Factory in the 16th, 17th century was a big warehouse or go down where you will bring your saman, keep your saman, take the cargo, keeping the like parking your cargos, that one, okay? So, bola Jahangir ko jaake request kiya moram Ramakhangi Surat Tekta factory kholiwali divina. Okay. Then Captain William Hawkins was so impressed. Captain William Hawkins was so impressed. तो उसने कैप्टन विलियम हॉकिंग ने सोचा अच्छा दे दी वो okay दे दी वो but you know what Portuguese said no okay Portuguese said no because Portuguese seniors isn't no are Portuguese seniors just remember this Mughals and East India Company though newfound love okay newfound relationship and Mughals can to Portuguese to ex girlfriend ase okay so tai taki gift diwali manase ex-girlfriend man no gushe. You know what? Mughals will betray Portuguese, okay? Portuguese and Mughals kan relationship bhal dakshe. Relationship between Portuguese and Mughals was very good. But you know, when they saw East India Company, tahan their Mughals kan la loyalty to East India Company they shift kurishe. To Portuguese ko gussa aaya and then dujon jhagara karo. Okay? Over Mughals. Understanding? Ito janibi. Okay? So you know why Jahangir was immediately impressed with Captain William Hawkins? Okay, fell in love with the love at first sight vision. Not romantically speaking. Okay, because Captain William Hawkins knew how to speak the Turki language. Okay, and language is a uniting factor that we can ignore. Yes or no? Language is a uniting factor. Okay, let's see. Let's say you are in Serbia. अपनी सर्बिया ते एकटा अपनी सर्बिया ते ऐसे आरो एकटा Russia होली Russia बोली you are in Russia remote is in Russia and then alone in a small cafe in a very outskirt of Russia okay and you are having coffee alone in a small cafe very cozy cafe in Russia very outskirts of Russia and then you are having coffee alone and then suddenly you hear somebody at the back speaking Lothal language suddenly okay and apni bhi lotha mano ase apni turn koro na korbo okay you will turn your life around and you'll be like what is this who is this kahan se aaya yes or no okay and then immediately he can be a terrorist we don't know okay or he can be somebody running out from doesn't matter he can be anyone but you know what immediately you will bond with this person you'll be like immediately apni bond karo this is exactly what I mean by language is a uniting factor okay clear unexpected okay maybe Robert Kikon also we never know maybe Robert Kikon is absconding I don't know he ran away okay clear but then you don't know right but then he's speaking Lotha you're also Lotha so what will happen you will bond together now exactly like that think like Jahangir okay? This white-looking fellow, Captain William Hawkins, wearing very different clothes from you. This is a white-looking fellow. He's not even looking like one of us. His skin is very fair, okay? And he's introducing himself as like, he was introducing myself like, himself like in the Turki language. So Jahangir immediately fell in love. Was like, wow, what is this? Okay, Claire, what is this? So immediately impressed हो गया ना बना भी कुछ है बना भी सूरत फैक्ट्री बना भी कुछ है but Portuguese ने बोला no that cannot happen so they didn't make it बना नहीं बाद में 1613 ने बना वो okay so how did Olivi but the English East India Company started the trade in India beginning of the trade however the English began trading in Masulipatam in the year 1611 slowly they have started trading ये तो trading start कुछ है 1611 ते start कुछ है सूरत ते 1613 ते खोली वो factory इधर 1616 ते खोली वो factory again who turned on your microphone we have
Miss, you're on mute.
Okay, not audible. Chalo, chalo. Is it audible now? How did it turn off? I don't know. Chalo. Florence, your mic is on. Florence, ma'am, can you please turn mute yourself? Florence. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for reminding me. Chalo, coming back. Let me continue this. 16. 6. 16 1600 1599. I hope you're following the timeline. 1608 1609 1611. Are you understanding this timeline? 1612 1616 13 1616 up to this much, man. Let me give you, this is Merchant's Adventure Khulishe 1600 to Queen's Charter Aishe 1608 to arrival in India de Aishe 1609 to Jahangir La Court Aishe 1611 to trading in Masuliputam. Yes or no? 1612 te what will happen? Battle with the Portuguese in the year 1612. Portugal or Portuguese versus English will happen, and this is known as battle in 1612. Captain Thomas Best. It was English was led by Captain Thomas Best. Okay, versus the Portuguese. What will Captain Thomas Best do? Captain Thomas Best will defeat the Portuguese in the Sea of Surat. Battle of Surat bhi koi dige. Battle of Surat, and Portuguese kange khatam kori dibo. To Jahangir khushi pao na pao. Jahangir is very happy. जहांगीर खुश है क्योंकि इंग्लिश हैज फाउंड विक्ट्री. ओके, एंड सो इंग्लिश को बोला अभी तो पोर्चुगीज इज नॉट देयर टू से नो टू यू, फैक्ट्री बनाई लो भी. 1613 दे फैक्ट्री बना हुआ. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग द टाइमलाइन? आर यू फॉलोइंग इट? 1612 दे बैटल ऑफ सूरत, ओके, वेयर इंग्लिश won. English पर जीतिशे. तो 1613 they, with no opposition coming from the Portuguese, they will establish their factory at Surat. Surat te factory bana wo, and factory de Surat bana do, it's like as important as Delhi te factory bana nishna. It's that important, okay? Now 1616 is another important thing. 1616 is factory at Masuliputam. Okay, Masuliputam de factory banation. Now, English people both peace was established with Portuguese. How did English and Portuguese end their rivalry? How did English and Portuguese end their rivalry? This is how they ended their rivalry. Okay, King Charles II. King Charles II from England. Okay, married the daughter of King of Portuguese. So tai ki hoy jeshe? Son-in-law hishno hane. Enemy to son-in-law hoy jeshe. Either the father-in-law won't fight because now then you are attacking your daughter's husband. So the Jagra got Charibi. Bombay be gift didishe. Bombay was gifted to King Charles II by the King of Portugal. Okay. And later given to the East India Company in 1668, becoming its headquarters in 1687. So marriage alliance used Krishatakhan. Madras. The English also obtained trading privileges in Madras, okay, from the Sultan of Golconda, and built a fortified factory at Madras in 1639, headquarters of British settlement in South India. South India, tito takhanla settlement Madras tagishe, okay. Madras is here, Chennai. Madras is there, and yete to takhanla Kolkata tagishe. Calcutta. Okay, Calcutta is here. Madras is there. Later on, they will shift to Delhi. Okay. Now let's come to Bengal. Takhan Bengal taking a punchishe. Foothold in Bengal. How did British took over Bengal? What was the foothold in Bengal? Let's see. Bengal was the most prosperous and the most significant province of the Mughal Empire. Bengal was the most prosperous. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is England, and this is East India Company bringing goods from. Okay, East India Company bringing goods. Yes or no? And it's not like goods. 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 Okay. East India Company East is Orient Orient. Like East, like it can be like from Indonesia, from India, from Japan, from China. Okay. Orient trade. So 100% goods stay that they are bringing from the eastern trade, right? Okay, 100% goods stay. East India Company ma anigena bikri grado England there. 60 out of 100%, 60% of the goods belong from Bengal alone itself. Can you see the massive share of Bengal in the trade of EIC? That means if Miss is bringing 100 saman from 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 China, Japan, from Indonesia, from India, all of them combined, 100 saman anya sigilo to 60 saman to Bengal brahi alone from Bengal. The rest 40 is from the rest of the countries. That was the margin of Bengal. Bengal was the most prosperous, most significant province of Bengal Empire, and it will attract English merchants due to its commercial opportunities. And so, in the year 1651, okay, in the year 1651, very, very important year. Okay, in the year 1651, the Shah Shuja, the Subedar of Bengal, Shah Shuja, who was he? He was like the governor of Bengal, Subedar of Bengal. Taiki Kruva, he will grant the English the permission to trade in Bengal with an annual payment. Okay, this is I will try my best to show you how blunderous these things are. 1651 there. Bengal de trade krule permission dishe. Bengal trade was given permission to the East India Company ki dishe with an annual payment of 3,000 rupees. Annual payment matlab saal de waise saal de. You understand? Okay. So apni la saal de for the entire 12 months, if your ghor bara is only 3,000, good deal for you or not? Itu kun lab kun loss. Mokhan lab aro Malik loss, yes or no? Malik loss, but Malik do na jane. This Shah Shuja is not aware of that. Okay, and you know what? The 3,000 is they are asking in rupees, and the English are making profit in pounds. Okay, this is why we can't blame the English also. Look how stupid we were. Like mokhan trade daligena takhan ki serve kurese. Okay, clear? They're earning in terms of pounds. Now, 50,000 pounds by the yearly. 50,000 pounds is their annual income, profit. And 3,000 rupees was, if you convert to pound, it was only 500 pounds. Are you understanding? Okay. See. 3,000 rupees sounds a lot, but it converted, it was 500 pounds. And they were earning 50. This will not come for prelims, okay? The prelims and I would. This is just me showing you how stupid Indians were in terms of balance of trade now. Okay, clear? So if you have 50,000 rupees, apni 500 to bhavi na bhavi, one sneeze and 500 will come out or not? Yes or no? And that too yearly. All throughout the year, that is the only money you have to pay. And why are you paying this? They will be piche te to ekta manu to Farooq share to go it to be pay na kurbi koi dibo. Okay, clear? I say coming soon. Okay. Settlement as Sultanati. Okay, in the year 1686, Hooghly was sacked by the Mughals. Okay, so there will be a little relationship between the English and the Mughals will go a little sour. Okay, a little sour. So in the year 1686, okay, Mughals Khanbra, this Satanoti is a name of a place in Bengal where the English were settling. So the Mughals will come and attack the British. Okay, the Mughals will come and attack the British after negotiation. Job Charnock, okay, Job Charnock will sign a treaty with the Mughals in the year 1690, and they will allow our relationship allow English to establish a factory at Sultanati. So now let us come to the establishment of the British presidency in Bengal. How did English? Okay, how did the English make East India Company establish their presidency in Kolkata? This is the beginning. And first ito settlement ge koisha Fort William. Okay, Fort William. So Fort William, very, very important, Fort William. Okay, the English obtained permission to buy the zamindari of Satanoti, Gobindapur, and Kalikata ito tinta, this Calcutta jo hai wo it was not there, okay? Calcutta was made by the British. Ito tinta village kinishe takhan, tinta bosti kinishe, Sutanoti, Gobindapur and Kalikata, and later on ito tinta ke ekta banai dishe and ito ke koshe Fort William. Later on that is Calcutta. Understanding? Okay, in the year 1698 the fortified settlement, fortified matlab they put up walls, okay, was named as Fort William in 1700, becoming the seat of Eastern Presidency, Calcutta. This is the beginning of how Calcutta was formed. Okay, now let's come to French people. French people, how did the French come? French trading company was taken last year, we see taken 1664 daishe. And by the way, French to government company daishe, government sponsored company, and East India Company to private company daishe. And any day, do you know private company bhal na idu company bhal? Any day is private company better or government company better? Means government jobs is better, the rest everything private is better. Yes or no? गवर्नमेंट जॉब अच्छा है पर गवर्नमेंट स्कूल गवर्नमेंट कॉलेजेस वो अच्छा नहीं है गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल अच्छा नहीं है सो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर फ्रेंच इस्ट इंडिया कंपनी और इंग्लिश इस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ला ভিতরে इंग्लिश इस्ट इंडिया कंपनी কিলে জিতিছে তখন জিতিছে বিকজ ইটো প্রাইভেট কোম্পানি ইতে ইকু নট পেপার ওয়ার্ক বেশি নাই এক্সিকিউটিভ অর্ডার ফট দিবলে পারে ইতে তো গভর্নমেন্ট লা আছে মানুষ সব কেউ দিকে না যাব লাগিব প্রসেস বেশি লম্বা আছে সো ফ্রেঞ্চ এন্ড ইন্ডিয়া ফ্রেঞ্চ এন্ড ইস্ট ইন্ডিয়া কোম্পানি উইল হ্যাভ আ ফাইট উইথ ইচ আদার এন্ড দ্যাট ইজ নন এস Carnatic wars. They will even have wars with each other, okay? So let's see. Let's talk about the French people. 1664. Always remember government company. During the reign of Louis XIV, Minister Colbert. Louis XIV was the emperor, was the ruler, and the minister Minister Colbert. So Minister Colbert established the name of their company they established was Campagne this Indies Orientalis. Okay, I'm so sure this is not how they pronounce, but who cares? It's fine. Okay, just say French is in their company. Okay, and also MCQ here I was so itna tension hogi zarurat nahi hai. Okay, clear? So which received a 50-year monopoly paise. Okay, 50-year monopoly. There's so many ways to pronounce this. Okay, so pronunciation it's fine. Okay. So there are thousands ways to pronounce this word or not, okay? And it has thousands of accents, thousands of ways to pronounce this. So exactly like that, don't worry about the pronunciation. Just get the MCQ correct. Which received a 50-year monopoly. Okay, remember East India Company was getting 15-year monopoly. This French is getting 50-year monopoly. Okay. By the way, this Pondicherry today we'll call it Puducherry, no Puducherry. The Pondicherry, the French manukhala kabza de thakishe. Okay, headquarter thakishe. It was founded in the year 1674 and became the nerve center of French power in India. Okay, became the nerve center of French power in India. Now let's come to the advance of the Danish. This is the last people, okay, Danes. So the Danish East India Company, also known as the Danish Asiatic Company, was established in the year 1612 and 1620. They founded a factory at Tranquebar. Now, itna important nahi hai. Not so important. I could have ignored this, but I just kept it for GK wise. Look at this. Danish Khandu Tahala main settlement was Serampore. Have you heard of Serampore, guys? Heard of Serampore? Serampore? Serampore is popular for theological studies or not? Theology. Right. Okay. So Danish people were mostly into spreading religion. Mostly into spreading religion and missionary work. Yes, missionary. It's written here. Missionary work. Okay, the Danes are better known for their missionary activities, and so whatever factories they had, also what they did, बिक्री कर दी British government के, because उनको ज़्यादा trading में ज़रूरत importance they are more into spreading Christianity and missionary work. That is why we still have in Kolkata we still have Serampore, right? Okay, and so whoever is pursuing theology, you can always ask like Serampore is still the Senate of Serampore is under all theological studies come under that. Most of the theological studies come under Serampore. Okay, so that is that. Now let us come to British conquest for Bengal. Battle of Plassey and Boxer. Okay, Battle of Plassey and Boxer. Now let's see. This is very important. These are the two battles you will never, ever, ever forget. I don't want anybody to forget. Bengal in the 17th, 18th century. Okay, during Mughal period, Bengal was the most fertile and the richest province of the Mughal Empire. I've already told you this. Now, when I say Bengal, don't think Ajila, the Choto Bengal ita thakatu ito kane. Moi Choto West Bengal kane. That Bengal, okay, 17th, 18th century Bengal was, even 20th century Bengal was, it was inclusive of the entire Bangladesh, entire Bangladesh to Bengal thagishe. Okay, because when India got partition, Bengal was broken into two, and Bangladesh was taken out. Okay, and it was known as East Pakistan. Yes or no? Okay, so when I say Bengal, don't just imagine the small Bengal that we have today, West Bengal, Kanai. The entire Bangladesh is Bengal, entire Bihar, Orissa, presently Bangladesh, present West Bengal, Bihar, Orissa. So Bengal was a very like richest and the most fertile and the most biggest province. Okay, and who was ruling Bengal? Nawab of Bengal koi. Okay, Nawab of Bengal koi. So economic importance. Bengal held very much economic importance, and it was famous for textiles, silk, and salt, petri. Okay. So exports from Bengal. What are the things Bengal exported? Okay, rice, indigo, pepper, sugar, silk, cotton, all these things. If you can memorize, it's good. Okay. If not, also it's fine. Okay. This is how Bengal is now. Importance for the British. I have written here. Okay. Importance for the British. Where is my? Okay. Bengal became the first kingdom to be occupied by the British in India. The enormous resources of Bengal came in handy for financing the British expansion. Okay. Name 60% of the British imports from Asia consisted of goods from Bengal. Is it? Ito ase alu. This is your alu figure, okay? Mainstay, interviews khande, in order to sound wiser than you are already, in order to sound more knowledgeable, you can use these quotes. You can use this figure. Okay, nobody will question you. Okay, these are some things you can always carry and put in any argument you are having, or put in any answer you are giving. Okay, to show how massive the trade in Bengal was, in to show how massive and how important Bengal was to India. Okay, so always remember 60% of the British imports from Asia considered goods from Bengal. And this is something Miss did not compose. Okay, alu means potato. What is wrong with you guys? Okay, alu means like something you put everywhere, it blends. This is some kind of figure and facts and figure. You put any answer there, it will blend, and you will sound more smart, even though you're not. Right? Okay. So that is that. Yeah, sorry. It was, remember I told you pound. Remember I told you they were making 50,000 pounds, and then you convert 3,000 into pounds. It's not 500. Okay, it's 350. Okay, 350 pounds. Okay, 350 pounds. Okay. The company paid a sum of 3,000 rupees, which was only 350 pounds per annum. Year de apni la bhara to 350 rupees ase bhabi. Aro apni salary 50,000 pai. Okay. Kun loss kun lap itu janibi. Okay, clear? Itu be trade freely in Bengal. Khushi marzi aibi jabi tax bhi bish na dibo. Okay. And in contrast, the company export from, these are all alu figures. If you want to show, or if you are talking on something which is like which is speaking on something which to show why India is so poor right now. Okay, unemployment jaise, you can quote these things. Okay, it is dimag olop sharp hobole lage. Okay, if the NPSC panel is asking unemployment kile India te man bishay ase, if you are smart enough, you can quote all this also. Okay, you can say India has not recovered from the crippling disabilities that was bestowed to us under the British rule. For example, you can say these things. Okay, and then you'll become ESC paka. Okay, and they'll be like, "Oh, this guy is so nice." Okay, or this girl is so nice. History bhi man bhalra jane. But then they don't know that you only memorize this 60% and 33,000% because Miss told you to memorize. Okay, clear? Like I said, your goal is not to get PhD. Okay, PhD is not your goal. Your goal is to clear this exam. Okay, so carry anything with you that is going to be long run at Nilode Jawla, and this is one of those. Okay, let's see. In contrast, the company export in Bengal was more than 50,000 per annum. Okay, That is that. Now, Battle of Plassey. Everybody, let's come to Battle of Plassey. Extremely important, guys. Battle of Plassey, BOP. Battle of Plassey happened in the year 1757. In the middle of the night, somebody throws cold water in your face and asks 1757. You have to recall everything by heart because it apni la foundation ase. Okay, this is your foundation of modern history. If you want to be good in modern history, this is your foundation. Battle of Plassey, Battle of Boxer, these are your third Battle of Panipat, these are your foundation. You'll never forget this. Battle of Plassey. Plassey is the name of a place in Bengal. Okay, in this Battle of Plassey, it was fought between Siraj ud Dawla versus Robert Clive. This is Nawab of Bengal. Nawab ase aru taikun ase East India Company la commander ase. Okay, so basically in the Battle of Plassey, Nawab of Bengal versus East India Company. Okay, who won? And what is this Battle of Plassey? Let's see. The Battle of Plassey was fought in the year 1757 in Plassey or Palashi. It's a region in West Bengal. Okay, troops of the okay. Taila, let's talk about the troops. Okay, Nawab Lado in terms of thousands. Okay, thousands of soldiers. Nawab has better soldiers, thousands of soldiers. These people have few hundred soldiers. So when you look at the number, you might think, miss, 100% idu Nawab jitibo because taido thousands and thousands anyase. But then you may say Robert Clive has brought only few thousand men. But you know what? You are like barbarians. You guys are shouting with apni talwar logina aise, arrow logina aise, takhan banduk thurese. Kun jitibo. Okay, clear? Apni ide na punchagi de takhan they will shoot you guys to death. Okay. No, warfare, the art of warfare is very different. Okay, clear? So obviously these people won. Even if the number is staggering very much, if you just do a fist fight, probably these people will win. Okay. In the fist fight, probably Sirajuddaula members will win. But then in a gun battle, and who will win? They are bringing tops also. Okay, bombs of say, okay, apni khan emotional ho gaya na pola aise, okay? Nahi hoga. Nahi hua. Okay. Not only that, Robert Clive was helped by some few traitors, okay, by some dhokebas, okay. These are the people who give who are dhokebas. They give dhoka to Sirajuddaula. Mir Jafar, okay, Rai Durlab, okay, Omi Chand, Jagat Seth. These are the people who gave dhoka. These are all nobles. Sirajuddaula la enemy khan ase. Aro Mir Jafar to tala military commander thagishe, ex-military commander. All of them sided on the side of Robert Clive because they were enemies of Sirajuddaula. Okay, and so Sirajuddaula was very young when he ascended the throne. Okay, बच्चा से था, बच्चा ही ऐसे. Okay, तो इन्होंने Robert Clive को support किया क्योंकि Clive ने बोला पैसे दूंगा. Okay, तो पैसा दिया and इनका. But you know what? Even if Mir Jafar, Rai Durlab, Omi Chand, Jagat Seth, all of them were on Sirajuddaula side also, Robert Clive will win. Okay, but still, I don't know side jaishi. Okay, let's see. Siraj ud Dawla was surrounded by a number of rivals in his own court: Mir Jafar, Omi Chand, Jagat Seth, and Rai Durlab. They helped the English in winning the Battle of Plassey. Are you understanding? I've given a very simple mind map. Okay. And so Sirajuddaula was very young, very inexperienced, even though he was full of patriotism, also very young, very inexperienced, untrained soldiers, right? So Robert Clive emerged victorious. Clive became victorious, okay? Troops of the British East India Company led by Robert Clive came up against the forces of Siraj ud Dawla, the last independent Nawab of Bengal. Why am I saying the last independent Nawab of Bengal? Because tala piche dekho na wo ito to independent Nawab, ito to puppet thai wo puppet samajh mein aa raha hai. Okay. Now after Siraj ud Dawla, whoever ascends the throne of Bengal will be a puppet. Okay, will be a puppet. Now, Sirajuddaula, the then Nawab of Bengal, Sirajuddaula succeeded his grandfather Ali Vardi Khan after his death. Okay, so Sirajuddaula grandfather Ali Vardi Khan tagishe, Ali Vardi Khan piche Sirajuddaula ishe, Sirajuddaula piche. After what is the result? Result of this battle is that Robert Clive EIC was emerged victorious. They won. This won. Okay, Sirajuddaula was killed. Now he won. So now when English East India Company won, they will make this guy Mir Jafar as the Mir Jafar as the new Nawab of Bengal. But Mir Jafar will be nothing but a puppet. Okay, yeah, look. The Nawab's army was 50,000. Clive was just 3,000. Okay, 50,000, not few hundreds, few thousand. Okay, but these things won't come in exam. Don't worry about it. It'll never come in exam. Okay, but then moreover, Mir Jafar with 1/3 of the Bengali army did not join the battle. Okay, under compelling circumstances, Nawab tried to escape, but he was killed. Sirajuddaula was killed by Miran. Who is Miran? Mir Jafar's son. Are you understanding the Sas Bahu serial that is going on here? Okay, Tala Baba, Tala Didi, Tala Buni and all. Okay, Mir Jafar's son is Miran. Miran killing Sirajuddaula. Okay, significance. What is the significance of this battle? This battle is regarded as a historic turning point of British in India. Historical turning point. It established political and military supremacy of British in Bengal. After this, Bengal will never rise again. Okay, Bengal will never rise again. That's it. After the Plasse, Clive proclaimed Mir Jafar as the new Nawab of Bengal. Mir Jafar is now a puppet in the hands of the. Now, do we have a new Nawab? Yes. What's his name? Mir Jafar. Okay. Mir Jafar, in order to satisfy the British, okay, as per the agreement, gave the zamindari of. Okay, now let's see. Mir Jafar ki koishe ito sign koribi. Ki sign korishe tai? Zamindari of 24 Paraganas. 24 Paraganas, group of villages of Bengal to the company. Okay. Zamindari. 24 Bostibra zamindari rights di dishe. Can you imagine? Landlord, Malik, 24 villages last. This is slowly how they will take everything from India, okay? However, this could not satisfy the British and consequently he was removed from the throne. So Mir Jafar bhi bishi lasting na koribo, okay? Mir Jafar bishi lasting na koribo, tala pichete, Mir Jafar pichete kun aibo, tala son-in-law aibo, Mir Qasim. Mir Qasim was placed on the throne as the new Nawab of Bengal. Let's come to the Battle of Boxar now, okay? Now, Battle of Boxar was fought between East India Company. Here, Mir Qasim will be helped by Shah Alam II and Shuja-ud-Dawla, Shuja, not Siraj, okay? East India Company. Who is Mir Qasim, Nawab of Bengal? Shah Alam II is Mughal Emperor. Mughal Emperor. And this guy is Nawab of Awadh. Tala friends kana say to friends kana say. Okay, so now today in the Battle of Boxar, can you see the tables have turned? Now you know EIC is alone and Mir Qasim has more people on his side. Okay, let's see. Battle of Boxar. This Battle of Boxar was fought between the forces under the command of British East India Company led by Major Hector Munro, okay, and the combined armies of Mir Qasim, Shuja-ud-Dawla, and Shah Alam II. Whatever I have drawn here. Okay. This is how combined. Ito tintala forces combined gurishe. So it already looks like a good deal. Yeah, it already looks like a good news. Already looks like good news, right? Okay, now we have this tree combined forces and Charibi do Mir Qasim Shuja-ud-Dawla Charibi Mughal Emperor bhi ai jeshe. This is like Rio, this is like Himanta, and this is Modi. I understand the level is different. Okay. Level is very different. This is Mr. Rio, this is Himanta, this is our Mr. Rio. It's that important. So this Narendra Modi. So Rio Aro Himanta ke Charvi, if Modi comes, then that's a big deal or not. Okay, so like it's a very big, good grouping. It's a very excellent grouping. And so what are we expecting? We're expecting these people will crush the EIC. Okay. Crush kiya, nahi kiya. EIC won. EIC won. Okay, like I said, the art of warfare is very different. Okay. Apni khan kiman soldiers anile bhi, EIC la soldiers are trained and they have better arms and ammunitions. Okay, clear, they have better arms and ammunitions. If they will bring talwar, okay, they'll bring guns. Okay. Arrow, bow and arrow anibo. Apni bow arrow adjust kar dente, people will kill you. Yes or no? Okay. When you're adjusting your bow and arrow, you'll be dead. So If Miss invites you for this kind of battle, will you go? I'll tell you, see, you bring lathi anivi, okay, dao anivi, bow and arrow anivi. Maybe enemy to guns anibo. Will you follow me? Okay. Acha, some of you will follow. You follow me. Okay. At least these people to look. At least these people to carry dao and spears and bow and arrow. You know who went? Okay, you know who went empty-handed? Tell me who went empty-handed in a gun battle. Gun battle they couldn't empty-handed. Gandhi. Okay. Gandhi. Gandhi went khali hard in a gun battle. Not him, like his followers. Okay. Gandhi ji and his followers went khali empty head in a gun battle. I'll tell you, look. Okay. I'll tell you guys, they will bring guns, they will bring bomb, but mukhando hat khali jabo de. Okay, I want naibo. Okay, apni khan naibo. Naga manu khan to Gandhi ji la follower hole bishi digdar ase. Okay. Naga manus can never be Gandhi's followers because we are like full of senses. Okay, clear? We would have never followed. Okay, we would have never followed Gandhi. But that is something, that is Gandhi. He was able to, he was able to convince the people to come empty-handed in a gunfight. Okay, so when you look at Gandhi, we can never become like Gandhi. Gandhi has that aura, the power to influence the people. Okay, clear? Let's see. Mir Qasim. Some books is Qasim, some books is Qasim. Okay. So now there are two people. You may get confused. Mir Jafar, Mir Qasim. Or Qasim. Both of them are, okay, both of them are Nawab of Bengal. So exam de apni to confuse khawa. Jafar takishna Qasim takishe. Kun takishe. First, second, kun the battle of Boxar de takishe. Qasim nishna, Jafar nishna. Easy way. There is very easy way to remember this. Alphabetical order hailo. Okay. Jafar first Aisha. Okay. B C D F G H I J K. Okay. So Jafar first Aisha. So second wala Qasim is the one who participated in the Battle of Boxar. First wala to tai papeti takishe dance kuri takishe jai jishe. Okay, he was dancing under the whims and fancies and then he left. Okay. So let's see. Mir Qasim was an efficient and a strong ruler. He was determined to improve the affairs of the Sultan. Okay. We'll do this tomorrow. Okay. You guys can, I will send the slide. We have 3 days for history, modern history, don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, we'll have, yeah, if it doesn't go for, we'll go for 4 days. Magna Carta means a document that has the list of rights. Because we don't have gun making factories, guys. What is wrong with you guys? I don't know what is next subject, guys. Sapira will tell you. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gamsamida. Okay. Good night. Please leave the classroom. Please exit the classroom.